All right then, hi guys, welcome to the webinar today. So before I do begin, I just want to wait a few minutes so we can get the maximum number of people joining us. Today we have Nathan and Sabahat who will be speaking today. So again, yeah, before we begin, we'll just have to wait a few minutes before everybody arrives, okay? All right then, so I can see we've got a lot more people joining us now, so I'll start the webinar. So before we begin, I'd just like to say a big thank you for you all attending. And at the start, I did say for you guys to say hello to our speakers. So that it's Nathan and Sabahat, who are from Nihilent, who are going to be hosting today. So just let everyone know that this webinar will be recorded and the recording will be put online after this session. So all attendees will be muted throughout the webinar. But if you do have any questions, to use the Q&A facility box at the bottom of your screens, and they will be answered at the end. Also, if you have dialed in as a guest, you can view more information about our membership on our website, or you can email me after the webinar today for any further inquiries. So another thing I did want to mention was that at the end, you always get redirected to complete just a very short survey. It'll only take a minute of your time. And your details will be kept anonymous, but by filling it out, it'll just help us to understand what you want to see content-wise in the future for our webinars, so we can make sure they're as beneficial to you as they can possibly be. So if you are viewing via a web browser, please wait until we close the session, otherwise you won't be able to provide any of that post-event feedback. Okay, and something I did want to mention to everybody was our UKISUG Connect event that's happening on the 27th to the 29th of November. If you haven't already heard of it, it's happening at the ICC in Birmingham. So if anybody here has attended before, hopefully be able to remember that it's just a brilliant place for you to network, collaborate, learn, and really just present yourself to the UKISUG community. And we have a lot of streams that are going to be put forward at Connect. These are only a few of them. There is a lot more information about everything happening at Connect on our website. If you'd like to inquire further about that, again, you can speak to me or you can contact our support email inbox. All right then, so without further ado, I'll pass things over to Lian, and Nathan, you'll be kicking things off.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Rachel.
Brilliant.
So hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Appreciate your time this afternoon. We're just going to share our screen. Probably makes sense to start off with a quick introduction from me and Sabahat, and then I'll talk for a minute or two about who we are as an organization, and then we'll get right into the subject matter, which again is all about building an intelligent supply chain on SAP BTP. So by the end of this session, in the next 60 minutes, hoping that you'll have an understanding as to how that's done, how to enable your supply chain to drive digitization, automation, predictive analytics, and collaboration across your ecosystem of partners, customers, so on and so forth. So quick introduction from me. I'm head of go-to-market for Nihilent. So my background is I've worked about 10 years in digital transformation with technologies such as SAP and Salesforce to deliver omni-channel experiences for customers and process digitization and automation for our clients. I'm based out of the London office, and I've been with Nihilent for over a year, and I'll talk a bit about what we do at Nihilent in just a moment. Sabah? Sabahat, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Do you want to do a quick introduction before we get started?
Yeah, sure. Is the screen still visible, Nathan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. I'm Sabahat Qazi. I am the president for the Intelligent Enterprise for Nihilent. I have more than 27 years of experience, out of which now close to 25 years have been in the SAP ecosystem. I have been on a long journey in SAP right from the R3 days, and now heading the entire ERP initiative, encompassing the entire Intelligent Enterprise framework for Nihilent. I am based out of Mumbai, India. Thank you.
Thanks, Sabahat. So I'll spend the next 1 to 2 minutes just to introduce us, the company, and then we'll hand back over to Sabahat to go into the SAP subject matter. So who's Nihilent? So we are a global consulting and services organization. We've been in business for about 20 years, and we have 2,500 employees based across 15 offices around the world, UK, North America, India, South Africa, and Australia. And throughout the time, we sort of serve around 1,600 clients in a variety of ways, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Sabahat, if you can move to the next slide. So I talk about us being a consulting organization and a services company at our core. Really what enables this are a series of award-winning patents that we've developed that you see on the left, things that enable organizations to drive change management, to develop product life cycles, map customer expectations to the technology solutions that are being built, and so on and so forth. So these fundamental patents are at the core of our DNA. We leverage them in all of our client engagements, and we effectively strive to humanize technology. So not just deliver technology to achieve a sort of a business outcome, but more to align it to the actual people, the employees, the customers that are using it. So that is us at a very high level. Just to talk about our capabilities, so you get the full picture of where we've come from and what we're doing. So I think when you talk about Nihilent, it can broadly be categorized into these 5 service areas. So we have the business transformation piece, where we do strategy development. We listen to customers and help build go-to-market plans for organizations around the globe. On the platform and technology side, this is where it's a traditional system integration organization where we develop applications, implement solutions. And this is where the SAP factor comes into play. About 70 years ago, we acquired one of the leading SAP organizations in the world, Intellect Bizware, of which Sabahat is a founder. And through that, we've developed a dedicated division focused on implementing SAP, building out SAP products, and helping our clients achieve their goals with that technology. On the brand, sorry, Sabahat, just back one for me. Just to quickly wrap this up, we have a brand and marketing transformation capability, which is a result of an acquisition we made a couple years ago of Hyper Collective, which is, again, one of the leading integrated marketing companies in Southeast Asia. We have a digital transformation practice where we, what I would call innovation as a service. So we enable our clients to leverage technologies such as IoT and blockchain. We actually built another award-winning blockchain solution for supply chain visibility, which is quite interesting. We do that for one of the leading oil and gas companies in Asia. And lastly, we have this data science and analytics practice with a dedicated division based out of Kolkata, where we have a number of PhDs and senior data scientists, professors, where we deliver predictive analytics, data visualization, so on and so forth. And just looking at what we do in the UK, so this is a small sample of some of the clients we work with out of the London office, ranging from large banks through to manufacturers, retailers, and even sort of tech startups such as Spotify. I think at this point I'll hand over to Sabahat, and we can dive into I think the meat of the discussion today. Sabahat.
Thanks, Nitin, and good afternoon once again to everyone. Just to give an overview of our SAP practice, we are a 500 people team of SAP consultants, worked with more than 250 customers, delivered a plethora of projects, more than 200 projects, in fact, across S4, BTP, SAP Analytics Cloud, SuccessFactors, and so on. More than 80 S4HANA implementations. The latest, which is the Rise with SAP, we are undertaking more than 20 projects. In fact, some 7-8 are already live. We also leverage our qualified partner package solutions. So there are some 5 solutions, including one on the intelligent enterprise, which brings about all the cloud solutions of SAP together for our customers. There are certain IPs, in fact, a few of the IPs which we are going to showcase today, a few of them are already listed on the SAP App Center, the idea being for the customers to discover and probably deploy those solutions. These are specific to certain use cases. There are 3 more solutions which are in the process of getting listed on the SAP store. Over this period of time, we have also developed a number of accelerators, be it on BTP, be it on open source, be it on ABAP. These are typically the white spaces in the SAP solutions where a customer might have a requirement, and these accelerators basically fill up that white space. We are a gold partner in India and a few other geographies. A number of awards have come our way. We have been the S4HANA Cloud Partner of the Year 2020 in India. We also won the SAP Mid-Market Partner of the Year award in 2021. And last 3 years running, we have also won an award for our projects, for example, in manufacturing transformation or in finance transformation and so on. So coming to the main topic of this webinar, which is the intelligent supply chain. There is a lot of talk around an intelligent, sustainable enterprise, but do we know what does it take to actually create an intelligent, sustainable enterprise? Do we actually know how to create an intelligent supply chain? SAP has a vision. SAP has a number of solutions to enable this. But what will try to do today is to take you through how we can actually build an intelligent supply chain using the most versatile solution which is there in the SAP stack today, as per me, which is SAP BTP or SAP Business Technology Platform. It's not just a platform from an infra perspective, but it also has more than 90 services, right from blockchain to IoT to analytics, AI, machine learning, which you can bring together and create an application right from scratch in a very short amount of time, in a very agile way. So coming to the intelligent supply chain, last 2 years, we all know about COVID. Now we also know about what's happening in Ukraine, for example, and its impact on the global supply chains. So everyone who's part of the supply chain, be it customers, be it our distribution centers, be it distributors, vendors, suppliers, everyone is impacted. And because of the impact on even one part of the supply chain, what we find is the entire business gets affected. So the one realization which has now come about is we are all dependent on other companies or other businesses for us to run efficiently, for us to run in a highly productive manner. It is important that we look at connecting all of these together. There have been a lot of disruptions in the past, and the reason why those disruptions have happened is because businesses have been very reactive instead of proactively looking at how to ensure that things don't go wrong when there are crises like what is happening now or what has happened in the last 2 years. For example, we don't have sufficient insights. There are restrictions in terms of suppliers now. Also, because of geopolitical reasons, we are seeing that certain suppliers are out of our reach. We can't use those suppliers, for example. There is a lot of demand now from the end consumer for looking at products or buying products that follow sustainable practices. So we also need to see whether the products that we are manufacturing, the raw materials that we are using, are they sustainable or not? We are also stuck up with a lot of excessive safety stocks today because the supply chains are not very optimal. There is not enough sharing of information. There is not enough sharing in terms of capacities. And there is a delay in receiving the demand signals from the market, because unless I receive those demand signals, I cannot plan in a better way. So what is it that we need to look at? We need to become more resilient. And the way to achieve that is you need to collaborate better. You need to balance your supplier mix so that in case one supplier is not able to supply, you always have another source of supply available to you. You operate with sustainable and compliant practices. You optimize on your inventory because there's a lot of pressure in terms of profitability, in terms of working capital, and so on. And you need to use real-time demand signals to be able to plan and execute better. One way to do it is to have a cloud-based solution that brings its own resilience. You need to be data-driven. You need to have embedded intelligence in your processes. The processes need to be flexible because any change that happens, those changes need to be taken care in a very short amount of time. And most important, and I think the prerequisite would be to connect people and things in real time, because unless you do that, whatever else you do will not work out. So that's about the intelligent supply chain. Now, what we have done is over a period of time, we have looked at what's happening in the market, what are the pain that supply chains face, and we have built some intelligent supply chain products on SAP BTP. So our vision is to have a real-time connected intelligent supply chain. What you see on the bottom is a typical supply chain. You have right from your, you are at the center, you're a manufacturer or a brand, and then you would sell B2B, you would sell D2C, which is a new business model, direct to consumer. But while you try to do all this, you have to work with a number of partners. You have to work with a transporter, you have to work with a dealer distributor. You may even have to work with retailer in case you are into consumer goods business. And obviously there is an end consumer who's actually the one on whose signals you are actually supposed to react. This is on the demand side. At the same time, on the supply side, you have your service providers, you have your material suppliers, and you may also be doing contract manufacturing. So this is an end-to-end supply chain. What we have tried to do is on BTP, build a solution for each one of these stakeholders. So right from your contract manufacturer, if I'm able to capture the data, right, for example, production plan, the execution of the production, the inventory levels that the subcontractor is maintaining, the details of the dispatch when they supply the goods to you, and any stock adjustments which are there. Similarly, there is a portal called Ivan, which is more for vendor engagement. The idea is onboard a vendor, provide them a platform to submit their documents, do their due diligence, then expose them to the request for quotations, let them see the purchase orders which are available so that they can confirm whether those materials are coming or not, by what date they will be supplying. Let them allow them to enter the advanced shipping notifications and any requests in terms of engagement, because typically there are a lot of telephonic or email discussions that happen with the vendor. Many of them can actually be systematized and put into these systems so that you can even have SLAs so that your vendor is also happy and the processes are smoother. Then coming to the organization itself, the organization would be using systems like S4 or ECC, as well as other solutions like transportation management or SAP Extended Warehouse Management. You also need to actually have a robust forecasting solution. So IBP is one example, but otherwise also we have a solution called Iris, which does the forecasting using machine learning models, considering a number of demand influencing factors like holidays, or maybe there is a company which is into pizza delivery, the T20 match is happening and the demand for pizzas are going to go up, things like that. So those can actually also be accounted for when you're actually forecasting. Then replenishing to your distribution centers and various locations, and requisitions also can be generated from this system. Then once your goods are ready, you're obviously going to transport them. So there is a solution called iTalk, which is into the orchestration of your entire transportation, right from your dispatch planning, which vehicle needs to go when, depending on the customer's demand, availability of material, then requisitioning for the vehicle, getting feedback from the transporter that on this day, on this time, the vehicle is going to come so that you can plan your warehousing activities, even tracking of the vehicle using GPS. There are certain industries, for example, where you need a cold chain. So you can even monitor the ambient temperature, the humidity, the idea being to ensure that the quality of the product is maintained. In case there is any, say, for example, a variation in temperature and the product being carried is something which has a very short shelf life and it cannot tolerate high temperature, you will immediately get a notification so that you can take a corrective action against that. Then we have a portal for the dealer or the distributor. A lot of companies use a channel for the products to reach the end consumer. You can connect the dealer or the distributor using the ideal solution, which is on BTP, right from their buying, which is ordering, to receiving the goods when they receive the goods from your DC. There is even a recommendation engine to increase the basket size. I'll explain that a bit later. You can monitor the stocks which are there. You can even have secondary sales, what the dealer distributor is selling to the next element in the supply chain, maybe the retailer or to a corporate account. You can have those secondary sales also recorded in the system, dispatches which they make, and payment requests. So basically an entire dealer engagement solution end-to-end is available in Ideal. Then we have a solution for the end consumer as well, which is the most important part of your chain. In case a customer is into, in case you are into consumer durables or you are into industrial goods, you may want whatever product you have sold to be registered, because many times when you're selling through a channel, you don't have visibility of who's your end consumer. But with the Engage app, you are able to do that. The customer is also able to monitor the warranty, any complaints, any service requests that might be there. Those can also be generated and monitored here with SLAs. Many places we are now seeing that consumer durable companies are even integrating IoT devices. So you can even see the health of your equipment or the product, how's it doing. In case there is a spare part which is changed in that equipment, the consumer can also do a part authentication so that they are sure of the quality of that spare part. So the idea of this is that the entire supply chain is connected in real time with intelligence embedded, and it is end to end, right from your consumer on one side to your contract manufacturer or your supplier on the other side. It's one platform, which is BTP. All these solutions are modular and can be adopted in parts. There are customers who have started off with the Ivan solution, and then later on they have moved to Ideal and expanded the portfolio. The advantage is if you're deploying it on your tenant, on the same tenant, you can keep on deploying this. You can use the same services which you have already subscribed to from SAP. Coming to the first solution, which on the contract manufacturing side. So as I mentioned, the entire production planning activity can be checked, can even be initiated from your side. In case you have a contract manufacturer who's dedicated to you, then the entire capacity planning for that contractor can be done by you. The execution on the shop floor, which is basically what raw materials are required, what batch is needed to be consumed, for example, those can also be controlled. The stocks which are available, you can monitor so that in case there is a shortfall in the stocks, you get advance intimation. Then when the dispatch happens, you can know in advance that this material is going to come to you or is going to get supplied to your DC or to your sometimes to your end customer as well. And any stock adjustments which need to be done as part of your warehousing activities, those can also be done. So the advantage of this is now we are seeing a lot of sustainability initiatives from companies. They want to ensure that their contractor is actually following those sustainable practices. Since the system operates in real time, you can ensure that those sustainability practices are followed. Things like, for example, first expiry, first out, or choosing the right batch for consumption, those can also be controlled using the icon solution. Yeah, and the best part is it's not complex. It's simple for a contractor to operate because sometimes the contract manufacturer is quite lean. They don't want the complexity that a typical ERP would have. And they would want simple screens for the entry. They would want validations so that it doesn't become a garbage in, garbage out kind of a system. So the screens are also very simple, very intuitive to use with very little training. You can actually get a view into what the contract manufacturer is doing. Coming to the next part of your supply chain, which is your supplier or your vendors. So the solution is called Ivan, again, developed on BTP. One of the issues which typically you would face or your procurement or your strategic sourcing department would face is onboarding a supplier. There are a lot of documentations that need to be submitted. There is a lot of information which needs to be filled in. Typically, this information would come via a mail or through some other form, and then somebody would need to key it in to the ERP system. But with this portal, you can give access of Ivan to your main suppliers and to any new supplier as well. And they can then fill in all these details, and the data can, after approval, be automatically transferred to your ERP system. Similarly, the requests for quotations, which are there, which you create in your, say, your ECC or your S/4HANA system, those can also be published, and the vendor can directly respond to them with compliance on whatever conditions you have put, pricing, terms, and so on. And then you can do a quotation analysis, and based on that, you can decide to actually create a purchase order, for example. You also have the functionality of reverse auction. So there are some products, especially in case of services, for example, or any contract that you want to do, you can do a reverse auction. You send invitations to multiple vendors, and those vendors can then log in at a certain time, They can enter what is the best price they are willing to offer, and they get to see how the other vendors are responding, obviously anonymously, and then they can keep on changing the price or the conditions so that you get the best deal. You also have the option of purchase orders, which you have raised in your ECC ERP system or your S4 system to be visible to the specific vendor so that they can confirm whether it is acceptable to them. They can confirm if there is any revision in terms of date, and you would then have better visibility of when the goods are expected to come. Similarly, when they are dispatching the goods, they can raise an advanced shipping notification. It will come automatically in your S4 or the ECC system and get updated. Again, improves the accuracy of your planning. Any request that the vendor may have, they have not received payment, or there is some other issue, or there is some quality related thing, the vendors can raise a request, and this can be monitored through an SLA so that you know that things are being addressed rather than they being on the mail or on being on the phone call or in somebody's head. It will be in the system, so you can ensure that things happen on time. And there are a lot of reports which are also available for the vendor as well as for you, such as invoicing, payments, etc. The good thing is it's self-service, so your phone calls that typically happen from your vendor to the buyer or from your buyer to the vendor, it reduces significantly. Another advantage is the errors in translation. You receive something on mail, and when somebody keys it in to the system, there is a chance that an error might creep in. Those also get eliminated when you're using a system like this. And it's available 24/7. So your vendor, whenever he or she wants to access, they can access it. The other solution which is related to the transporters is called iTalk. This basically has been developed to orchestrate the entire transportation chain. In fact, there are customers who have implemented TM, SAP TM, for example. Still, for a certain portion, they want to use it. For example, if they want to give access to the drivers, yeah, it's possible using the iTalk system. So right from building a load for the vehicle, how much you need to dispatch, when you need to dispatch, what are the routes, those can be made visible, picked up from the ECC or the S4 system and shown as a dispatch plan. You can then select, you can raise a requisition on your transporter so that the transporter can then respond when he's going to place the vehicle. Even the vehicle number can also be given. And then when the vehicle arrives at your warehouse, you can do a validation. So we use AI ML here to read the license plate, for example, to validate. There's no need to enter. You can even take the picture of the driver. So if the driver has been there in the past, you get the entire details related to license number and all. And if there is any blacklisting of any vehicle or driver, even that gets caught at this stage. Once the vehicle moves inside, the various stages from loading, there might be a checklist. There are certain compliances that you need to manage. All those can also be monitored in the app itself. And once the vehicle is loaded and it leaves, you can then monitor using GPS in case you're using GPS connectivity. One major use case here is in case of cold chain, where it's very critical that to ensure quality of your products, the ambient temperature and humidity is monitored. So this system also integrates with the IoT devices, and it picks up the data in real time. It keeps on monitoring in case it goes above a certain level. Say, for example, you're carrying milk products and the temperature goes up by 2 degrees beyond what it is supposed to, you'll immediately get an alert. There might be a breakdown in the vehicle, or there could be something else, but you get to know. And then based on that, you can take a call whether the product should be given to the customer, or there needs to be a reduction in the shelf life. That can also be done. These are a few of the screens from the solution iTalk. Yeah. You can see here, for example, there is an increase in temperature and immediately it's highlighted, it appears to your supply chain person so that the right action can be taken. Then coming to your customers, your dealers, who are actually your representatives in the market. So it's important that they actually have correct information, and they also operate on as much of standardized system as possible. So Ideal is one such solution where your dealers or distributors can actually place orders on you for buying certain products. What happens sometimes is these dealers, distributors use um, maybe a thumb rule to decide what products they need to buy from you, but actually they may not be the optimal product mix for them. So we use an ML based recommendation engine, which based on the past history generates a list of SKUs, and those SKUs might be in excess of what the dealer was going to offer, and it ultimately increases the basket size for you, as well as the inventory that he is then going to receive is the one which is actually moving in the market. So it's a win-win for both. Dealer improves his revenue when he's selling, and you are also able to deliver to your customers. The chances of stock outs would reduce. If you're running any promotions, then even those promotions can actually be more successful in the market. You also get to see the stocks which are available at your dealer distributor so that you can plan what needs to be replenished, what needs to be probably supplied less. If there is an existing order, then probably place it on hold for the time being because there is already an excess inventory. You may even do a transfer from one distributor to another if it is permitted as per your tax regime, so that the areas where a product is not selling, you can move that to an area where the products are selling more. So it basically optimizes your entire inventory in the supply chain. The dealer can also raise an invoice on the retailer or her customer or to a stockist. So all those details are also available. You get visibility of the secondary sales, which are actually more accurate because what you typically sell to your dealer distributor is many times it's a push. But here, what you are getting to see is what is the dealer actually selling to the market. So that reflects more correctly on what's in demand in the market. And then you can improve right up to your production planning. What's selling in the market is what you produce more. What's not selling in the market, you don't distribute, you don't produce more of that particular SKU. Then we have a solution called Engage, which is for the end consumer. More, as I mentioned, to do with businesses which are into consumer durables or which are into industrial equipment, and which typically use a channel to sell their products. What happens when you're selling through a channel is you lose the identity or name of who's your end consumer. Now, how do I capture that? So Engage is one app which you can make available to your end consumer. The advantage for the end consumer is they can register the product, they can monitor their warranty. You can also know what is in it for you, because many times the liability provision that you make for warranties is also quite high. You need to actually manage that. So that visibility is available with you. Any complaint that the consumer might make, you get that feedback directly from the market instead of it coming through to you from a dealer or a distributor. And then you can take action. Maybe there is a need to change the design, or there are a certain number of batches which might be problematic. So you can take proactive action, and all that helps in improving your brand value. Similarly, if there is IoT integration in the product, you can also link it to the Engage app, and that data also can be transferred on a platform where you can do analytics on it to see how the products are performing. And ultimately, all that can contribute to improving the products for you. In case there is a part replacement that needs to be done, one of the issues which customers face is whether the part which has been replaced is authentic or not. So using a QR or a barcode, the customer can just scan with his mobile and authenticate whether that part is actually genuine or not. So again, all this helps in improving your customer service, in improving your brand value in the market. Then we have a solution for forecasting and replenishment. We have it on BTP, we have it on open source where it's called Resense. The idea is to forecast using machine learning. There are various models. We use an ensemble of models to find out which is the most accurate one. And then based on that, a forecast is generated. Not only that, even collaborative forecast, even forecasts which you receive from your various salespeople or sales executives or various zones, they can actually also be presented along with the forecast generated by the machine learning algorithm. So you can take an informed call on what exactly you should consider as your final forecast and use that to generate your production plan or your procurement plan and so on. It also generates replenishment requirement at various locations. The initial solution that we developed was based on the theory of constraints, where there is a dynamic movement in terms of how much you should be ordering at each location. And that level keeps on changing depending on what's moving in the market, what's not moving in the market. Similarly, requisitions for products can also be generated, especially very important where you have a new product introduction, for example, or there is a very specific demand that comes from a specific end consumer. So those can also be accounted for in the IRIS solution. So these were the intelligent supply chain solutions that we have developed on BTP using the various services of BTP. Now, coming to a success story, there are a good number of customers who are implementing or who have already implemented. This success story is from a large hybrid defense player in the Middle East, where they have deployed IVEN, which is the intelligent vendor engagement portal. The idea is to connect in real time with material suppliers, with service providers, with logistics partners, as well as internal procurement users. The functionality that we have enabled is obviously vendor self-service. So anytime vendor wants to access see reports, see open POs, and so on, they can do that. It also takes care of the entire source to pay cycle, right from your onboarding to the payment to the vendor. There is a solution there for digital signature. So any documents which you generate, say, for example, you have a PDF which has come out of your S4 system, those can also be digitally signed. And it is very tightly integrated with the SAP S4 HANA system. The advantage that you get, obviously, the supply chain visibility on the supplier side. You get to know what product, when it is coming, if there is any delay, if it is on its way, all those are visible to you. It's like a mini supply chain control tower of sorts. You get real-time insights because all the data which is being entered, it's available to you immediately in real time. Similarly, whatever is entered in the S4 system is also directly exposed in real time onto the IVEN portal. And there is better engagement with the vendors because it's self-service. There is less number of calls to ask for certain things. Whenever the supplier wants, they can access the system. The advantage of IVEN, since it's all developed as a product on BTP, you can deploy it in weeks. There are ready interfaces available with the S4HANA system, for example, and it's based on the UI5. It's very intuitive to use because there are companies which may have 200, 300, 500 suppliers as well, and training them obviously would be a challenge. But because the user interface is very intuitive, it's easy to adopt and roll out across. For example, in this particular case, we rolled out to 200 suppliers in one go. Now, these solutions which I talked about are pretty modular. So in phase one, the customer has gone in for IVEN, and phase two, they are now deploying Ideal, which is for the customer. Ideal is not being deployed as it is because they need some change in that. But here, Ideal is being used as a kind of an accelerator to make it live very quickly and to deliver business value very fast. From an architecture perspective, I will not get into too much of technical details, but what you see on the right is basically your SAP system, your S/4HANA or your ECC system, which is in your data center, or it could be hosted anywhere. It is connected via a secure tunnel using the connectivity services on BTP. And in BTP, there are various number of services that you use. For example, there is a Cloud Foundry runtime where the application is loaded. There is a Launchpad service for exposing it to mobile. There are mobile services that are used. There are a lot of approvals which need to be taken in the process. So those are managed using the SAP workflow management. And there is some bit of data persistence also, which you need, that's stored on the SAP HANA Cloud. And this is accessed securely by the internal users, the buyer, by the vendor users, as well as the administration user. And you can have a single sign-on. Your buyer would not even know whether the buyer is accessing the BTP system or they are accessing your ERP system, because in one go you are able to see using the Launchpad service all of them together in one place. So the advantage of the intelligent supply chain solutions that we have is that you use the infrastructure which is available from BTP. You have ready connectivity with a lot of solutions, S4 or with SuccessFactors, with Ariba, and so on. There is prepackaged business content which is available, and you use the intelligent supply chain solution as it is, or the other option is use them as accelerators, maybe combine them with any other actionable use cases that you may have to create a seamless experience. So right from accelerating the development, there are cases, for example, we developed a vehicle turnaround app in as short as a week's time, and then within 15 days time, it was rolled out to the customer. So that just talks about how quick we can actually deploy these solutions. For the business user, wherever they see a gap, they can use it to improve their processes. For the external user, they get to see the transactions, which typically are done in S4, are available only to the internal user. For example, the purchase order, but then you can make it visible to the external user. They can even do the confirmation, for example, which is an extended business transaction. Similarly, for the business analyst, because BTP also includes SAP Analytics Cloud, so they can use it for integrated analytics and planning as well. So these are the advantages of this solution being on BTP. Now, your journey, how you can move to enabling the intelligent supply chain. I will not get into the details of the SAP's vision of intelligent sustainable enterprise, but we are looking at the business technology platform, which is one of the major components. As I said, it's the most versatile component which is available. So you can use it for app development, like we have used it for developing apps for the vendor engagement, for the dealer distributor engagement. You can use it to integrate, like we have used it for integrating with the S/4HANA system, even integrate with Ariba system, for example. Then there is data and analytics. So whatever data is being generated from the system, you can bring it together, data from the supplier, data from your own internal systems, and create your dashboards for better insights into your business. And then using intelligent technologies, I talked about the recommendation engine, for example, which is there in the dealer distributor portal, Ideal. So you can use all of these services and create something unique for you. If there is a use case that you have, if you use BTP, you can try and solve your challenge with that. Which is why we call it the art of the possible. The BTP itself offers more than 90 services, right from low-code, no-code platform, like you have SAP AppGyver, which is available. You have process automation, you have RPA bots, for example, which are available to automate a process. You have integration related things. You have the API hub, where there are integrations with more than 2,400 different types, which can readily be used and consumed. You have data and analytics, so which is unique in the sense that you're not just using the data to analyze, you can even plan both your S4 as well as your other systems like Ivan, Ideal, and all that. And there is AI. So for example, document classification, or you want to extract something from a document, those can also be done using BTP. So from your journey perspective, what you have to look at is there a use case? Is there a challenge that you're today facing? For example, your quality executive in your organization, uh, what they need to do, they need to capture the information. Vendor has supplied some goods to you. You are going to use those raw materials. You need to capture the parameters. How do you do it today? It's not a good experience because most of the time you are replicating the data. You receive a quality certificate by mail. Somebody needs to read it, download it. Then you need to key it into your ECC or your S4HANA system. So it's not a very productive experience. Say Rachel is a quality executive. She will not like keying in again the same data. Yeah. Similarly, whenever she needs this data, she will need to go through those documents, those quality certificates from vendors, put them in an Excel sheet, and probably create a report around that. So if this is a use case, what you can do is you can use, say, for example, the IRPA service, where when your supplier is providing you the goods, they are also giving you or emailing you the quality certificate. What they bought in IRPA will do is it will extract the quality certificate content. What are the parameters? It will keep on learning as well, so that first certificate from the same vendor, maybe it didn't read completely correctly, but next time it would have learned, and then it is able to determine and improve its accuracy. Once the data is available, then it can post the quality result in SAP. It can even do the activity of attaching your quality certificate document into your S4 system. And that data can be passed on to your finished product, because ultimately the raw material is being used in producing your finished goods. And that data is also available for analysis. So this complete chain, if you see a good portion of it, I would say most of the part which is shown in red is actually automated through IRPA, saving you time, giving time to the quality executive to focus on more productive, more value-added work. Yeah. So one thing I would request, I think we're now short of time as well, is go and explore the SAP store. Many of our solutions which I talked about, for example, Ideal is shown here, is listed on the SAP store. And there are more than 2,200 solutions which are available for various use cases on this store. And this count is increasing every day. So go and explore. You'll find our solutions. You'll find solutions from a lot of other partners also. It'll probably, you'll be able to identify some use cases which are relevant for you. There are also a lot of resources available on BTP, how you can use it. A lot of resources have been provided by SAP through the SAP Discovery Center, but you can reach out to us as well in case there is any requirement, or go through the Discovery Center, go through the SAP store, and find something which will actually help improve your business outcomes. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to cover as part of this webinar. If there are any questions, I would be happy to take them.
Thank you, Sabahat. That was fascinating. Appreciate your time into that. If there are no questions from the audience, I have one or two that just might help prompt a little bit more of a discussion, and equally it might be interesting for some of the people who've been watching to hear about. So some of the solutions you talked about in some cases appear to be similar or overlap with other solutions from SAP, such as Ariba, such as Digital Supplier Network. Can these products integrate with those, and also why is there an overlap? Why go with something like Nihilent's or any other product in the SAP marketplace as opposed to Ariba or Digital Supplier Network?
Yeah, so Nathan, first of all, yes, these solutions can very well integrate with Ariba. There is a use case where we have integrated with Ariba. And you're right, there is a bit of overlap, especially in case of Ivan. But there are certain areas of, where probably a customer may need, or a customer may already be using BTP and would want to extend the solutions. Even if you look at our intelligent supply chain solutions, what they give you is on one tenant, on one subscription of your services, you are not just able to cover the supplier, you're also able to cover the dealer, distributor, you are also able to cover the transporter. So that's an advantage. Many of the businesses are into B2B, where they only work with a limited set of suppliers. So it's not like they want to discover a lot of suppliers. With this limited set of suppliers, if they want to integrate with interact with them, then Ivan actually makes sense. But yes, from a functionality perspective, it's lean. So if a customer is looking at a lean solution, then yes, Ivan probably ticks all the boxes on that front.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. So I've got one or two more, but if anyone else wants to ask, please feel free to jump in. I gave it just a second. So again, it's quite interesting that these different solutions touch on various stages in the supply chain and allow you to sort of have, you know, kind of a complete end-to-end seamless digital proposition for, you know, your different partners and customers, vendors, so on and so forth. Is there a single view, perhaps like a dashboard or something that is much like a control center, where you can oversee the analytics of various things that are going on across these different components?
Yeah, so Nathan, SAP Analytics Cloud, which is the solution from SAP for analytics, is part of BTP as such. And there are a lot of dashboards that we have created around these. For example, there is a dashboard related to manufacturing analytics. There is a dashboard related to sales, primary, secondary sales, and so on. The next step, the progression of this product is to create a kind of a supply chain control tower, which gives a seamless view of the entire supply chain. I mentioned this is a real-time kind of a solution. So it's important that we get the right KPIs, and not just that, even from a visualization perspective, we are able to get one single view of the entire supply chain. So that's the next stage of development that we are looking at. Partly we have already developed. I already mentioned a few of the dashboards which are there, but we are in the process of creating a comprehensive dashboard.
Understood. Thanks for clarifying that. I've got maybe one or two more, so I'll give it another second and then ask. So, you know, to what degree are these solutions out of the box versus require some sort of customization? And, you know, for a client that is on SAP, if they, let's say, were a mid-size, mid-tier type organization, what are the typical implementation times? And, you know, as I said, you know, to what extent are these out of the box, ready to go, versus require some amount of customization or configuration in order to get them up and running and start recognizing business value from them?
And Nathan, largely the solutions are out of the box. The only place where we need to actually work in terms of implementation is to integrate with the customer's ECC or the S/4HANA system. So that's an activity that definitely needs to be done. What we are hoping is when S/4HANA public cloud becomes mainstream, then probably it will become a kind of plug and play, because there won't be much of variation in the customer system. But today what happens is every customer has their own unique customization or configuration of the system, and sometimes that needs a bit of a tweaking that needs to be done. But apart from that, there are requirements also that the customer has. For example, they may want to create a very unique kind of model for their supply chain. In that case, they can use the solutions, the I solutions, as kind of accelerators, bring them in, use them and build on top of it, connect them to different things, create different workflows that they may want, and create a unique differentiator for themselves. So both options are available as such.
Okay, so yeah, so some out of the box, if the use cases are broadly applicable to what that business is trying to achieve, equally, there can be configuration of the processes, the data model, in order to make it a perfect fit if such thing is required.
Yeah.
So last question, then. I think we're almost out of time. So if someone was interested in understanding how these solutions could complement what they're already doing on SAP with respect to supply chain, how can they engage with you, and what would you recommend they do to understand more about how this would all work?
I would suggest that the customer looks at a use case. If they have, they can identify a challenge. For example, we can engage in a design thinking workshop with the customer, see where this fits in, what is the gap between the current solution and how much of, say, for example, a customization may need to be done. We can also look at the roadmap so that the solution can expand. And the idea ultimately, Nathan, is to create an intelligent supply chain. It's not just to look at one part. While you can take the solution as one module, but over a period of time, you would need to look at creating a roadmap, how you can adopt all the solutions together on BTP. So we can conduct a design thinking workshop with the customer. It's maybe a 2-day activity that typically we do. But at the end of it, you would even have some kind of a wireframe in case there is a change that you need to do, or customization that you need to do on top of the solutions we already have.
Got it. Sabahat, thank you so much. Rachel, if you're still with us, over to you. For the attendees that are still here, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully that was a good use of your time. And again, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have outside of this forum.
Brilliant, that's perfect. Thank you, Nathan. And thank you, Sabahat, again for speaking today. That was brilliant. So just a reminder again, guys, for you to fill in that short survey at the end of the webinar today. It'll only take about a minute of your time, so it won't be very long at all. So that's everything. Thank you all for attending and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.
Thank you so much.